What time did you play?
6 tomorrow.
Take off?
And we get in at 4 o'clock, 4 in the morning,
Yes.
4:15 or
What's
something.
the time? What's the,
Well,
time difference?
we leave, it's a 4-hour flight, so it's probably about a 4 to 6 hour
All right,
difference.
we ready?
Right, yes.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for your patience. We're now going to start the open meeting. So have a call to order at 8:26. We have signed the bills. Next thing is the approval of the minutes from the last meeting. Anybody have anything?
I had one thing on the second page. Number 5, trustee review nomination. The second sentence, it says the Massachusetts Library Association, it's the Massachusetts Library Trustees Association, to add the word trustee. Stephanie?
I actually had two things. Under number 3, the first bullet, when you get almost to the end of the sentence, Jeff is a wonderful addition. Taking a L out of
Okay,
it.
can you show me where that is? On page.
It's on the page, it's under number 3, staffing and training.
Is that item number 3?
It's item.
I have staffing and training number 3, yeah, there you go, say again.
Okay. And when you get down to that, Miss Swift Johnson stated that the new circulation assistant Jeff is a wonderful addition. To the addition, not additional.
Oh, addition, there you go.
And then down under number 5. Just to be consistent, everybody is Miss so-and-so, Miss so-and-so, Annie should be Miss Wilton.
I was wondering why Annie was in there because, she doesn't.
So she put
Is-
Miss Wilton.
Yeah, shouldn't it say Miss Johnson was in attendance?
It's can be Miss Johnson and Miss Wilton were in attendance at the day festival, so it's fine for her to be there, she's part of the friend. But I would like to be consistent, I mean, if you want to.
Oh, yeah, can I go back to number 3, Donna? Yeah, on the second bullet.
Yeah.
Ms. Swift Johnson stated that she will conducting interviews. In the third bullet, if I see the pens. 1, 2.
Oh.
Will be,
Will be.
Will be conducted, will conduct interviews.
It'll be conducting, either one. Yeah, we will conduct.
And. Oh,
Okay, is that it? Anything else? Anyone gonna make a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of November 13th
With the
with the,
addition,
with the added edits.
second,
Second the motion.
all those in favor?
Uh,
Everybody, okay, moving on, thank you. Friends of the Glen, Annie Wilton,
Thank you, Donna.
thank you for waiting for so long.
No
Appreciate
problem.
it.
So our, we're doing very, very well on our annual campaign, as you know, we're now doing it fiscal year like the town does. So our annual campaign right now is $4,794.08, which is actually quite good for us, given it's December, because really our big push is January, February. And that's primarily because of the Kirby Foundation, which did donate $3,000 for children's programming for the library, which is a huge boost for us. And they also gave $1,000 for Neighbors in Need. So that was really terrific and has put us on a great trajectory. In addition, as I mentioned last month, the reminder postcard that we sent out to members that had given in the past but hadn't given this year. At last meeting, we had raised $555 from that, but now we have an additional $605. So we're up to just over $1,000, $1,160, Stephanie, for the reminder postcard, which is where we normally fall. for that, so that's really great. And I anticipate we'll get a few more probably before the end of the year. And Loretta and I are going to go to the select board's meeting on the 19th of December to accept funds for programming for the library from the Turkey Trot event. So I'm not sure what the amount is, but I'll let you guys know next month, but that's another great. It's just awesome that they do that for us. And Neighbors in Need continues to go well. A lot of people have already received what they're gonna get, and then there are a few more that will, but I think Judy's trying to wrap it up by next week. And the desktop calendars are available. I thought I had one here, but if you're interested, the Friends did the desktop calendars, which are photographs of things and programs and stuff that we did in the library. And those are available at the circulation desk if you want one for next year.
For limited time only, right?
Right.
Get them while you can.
So, yes, you can. And I'm all set. Thank you, Donna.
Great, thank you, Amy. Really amazing. All right, trustees report. Let's review policy number 9, rules of conduct. Anybody got anything?
Looks good to me.
Looks pretty darn amazing. Especially with the before and after.
Yeah.
Can I make a motion to accept the draft?
I actually have a correction.
Oh, no.
It's probably gonna be the one that I changed, go ahead.
At the very last line, the very last paragraph, it says no trespass order that prohibits access to library property or a permit. We forgot to put in the for up to 1 year. It just didn't get transposed from the draft. A temporary no trespass order that prohibits access to the library property for up to 1 year.
We took that out,
We did?
yeah. Because it could be, temporary, depending, like 6 months, 3 months.
For up,
1
that's
year.
why I thought we said for up to 1 year, and then, or a permanent no trespass. See the difference between a temporary and a permanent?
Certainly, so you want to add in. up
I
to-
didn't have it taken out, so I just thought we forgot to just cut and paste it. Does everyone see where the last 2 lines, it says the issuance of a temporary no trespass order that prohibits access to the library property
For up to,
for up to 1 year, comma. That's what the definition of the temporary would be. And then, or a permanent no trespass order depending on the severity of the violation. You wouldn't believe the kind of pacing that happened here between 6 different versions. I read the prior one, yeah. Oh, and one more quickie at the very first paragraph. In the 3rd sentence, to safeguard the general public, library staff, building materials, grounds, then the and should go after the word grounds, not before it. That makes sense, Joe? That's all I had. And like you wouldn't believe after the time we spent, we still haven't made mistakes.
may I make a request, changing the first sentence, Flint Public Library is an active inclusive center, just putting the word and in there. Is an active and inclusive. Reading what it is. Ours has and, perfect. And I'm good.
Does anybody have any? I make a motion, we accept.
I made the motion.
Oh, I'm sorry, I seconded.
Okay.
I seconded.
You can second it, Susan.
All those in favor?
With those edits, yep.
And I think this policy really does. A fair job. and is much improved over what we put together here in 2018.
I know, I do want to thank you for taking the time to bring it into the 21st century.
Thank you, Allison. This was what I love to do, so it's not hard.
Okay, so I'll take it that Jackie isn't here, so we're gonna skip the performance of
She
that.
handed it off to me actually. On
Oh,
Elgin.
my.
Here's a, here.
Okay, so let's.
You pass it to the left. Go,
Thank you.
and she attached me memo to the back.
For 1 year.
I would take it, thank you.
That's just an extra actually on that. Maybe that was your, I don't know, you Susan get one? Kristen has it, and see it from.
So I'm presuming what we'll do is, now we have it, we should really evaluate it and bring it back onto the agenda in January. Because people really wanna, we don't wanna spend the time right now.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question? Do it finish school?
This Wednesday. But I do want to mention that there was already a vote taken on these at the April meeting, so another vote's not needed, just, but
Well,
we certainly can. if you want.
Okay, we don't need to vote, but we can look at it, we were having comments or something, we can talk about it.
Right, but the 5 goals were already voted on in April, so.
Okay, okay,
Can I ask a question though?
sure.
We've never completed the last year's one. These goals, but is this the end of last year's? Is that what this is?
Yeah, it's not.
So that's the compilation for 12 months from the last review period.
Not compilation, it was, it's a goal setting.
This is the compilation of the goals that we
Of the
put
goals.
together back in
For
April.
2000,
So
for 2023.
And
for
24,
24,
through 24.
24, right,
Okay.
correct, 23. and
Okay, I'm confused because we had never gotten a compilation from 2023, so now we're gonna get ready to do, I should be talking to you, Jackie. We, in 2023, we missed our kind of February deadline and it got to be April when we finally discussed it, and we never got from Jackie a compilation of what the scores represented. In order to develop this list of goals, we were kind of flying like a bat, we were just like we think from 23, so I was still waiting for something from 23. And now you're telling me we're already
So-
starting 24?
Sorry, go ahead.
No, please.
Oh, I was gonna say, so 2023's performance is reviewed in 2024, the beginning of 2024.
Well, okay, then I'm
Right,
talking
so-
2022, we never got to finish 2022,
That was a 6-month and then a 1 year,
and we never got to finish the 1 year one
which is what this is.
for 22 for 23. Because you've been here 2 years out of February,
2 years in February.
right, so where's
So
year 2?
that will be done next year, will be the next, we'll do another review next year on the past 12 months.
I understand, so you got a 6-month review, which we finished,
Mhm.
then you got a 1 year review in what should have been February 2023,
Right, which brings us to the 18
but
months.
we never got it done.
That's what this is.
This can't be the end of it because Jackie was supposed to compile a list.
She said she was never gonna do that. because of that.
That's not legal. Her Loretta's
So
contract says that it needs
The
to be done.
scores, the numerical scores were compiled, and that was what was shared in April. And
Right, but
then
we
as
never
a
got
final step, yes, yes, we did. Back in April, the April meeting. We received the compilation of the
scores, but we
Correct.
never got the compilation of the comments
Correct, which she said would not be done.
for no legal reason. There was,
She said there was a legal reason, and you can ask her about it.
I did ask her about it and we, agreed
So-
there was no legal reason. Can you check with
So-
Jackie?
Yeah, this seems like one we can sort out offline.
But this is,
I'll find
these
out.
goals are the ones that we came up with
From it,
last April
Justin's
for the
reading.
next year.
yeah,
So I think
yeah.
Justin's trying to make a suggestion.
Okay,
If you want to hear
if,
that.
I was
no,
just saying, like, we can sort it out offline.
okay, because I don't feel that these were based on any compilation.
He's saying that.
I hear you, I hear you.
All
So
right.
thank you, so we'll
Okay.
offline,
Mhm.
okay.
And then just for clarification, Laura, I want to be clear, then your next review we have again. To do
Start in
the
January.
like triggers in January.
So I'm not sure if if the annual review will happen on my start date or more in line with the town's annual review, which usually happens around like June, July.
Why would that
So,
be that late?
so again, I'm not sure, well, because
It's fiscal year at that. point.
correct. So town goes fiscal year.
Right, I know that,
So-
but your contract says we review every annually
Annually.
based on your contract start date, that's the, but
So-
again, that should be taken offline to see what the
Yeah,
contract
I
says.
mean, there may be value in rewording that, in the contract so that it's in line and in step with all the other department heads and things.
That could be offline.
I'll
too,
ask,
but-
I'll see, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Appreciate that.
So anyway, so these are the 2023 to 2024. We're just well into that time period, but these are the goals that were voted on at that meeting. So this is the final step of what will be presented to the board for that annual review
At the moment,
process.
Justin's going to look into that.
Right, but I'm saying, if so, as of right now, this is the final step, just to clarify for Allison with her question.
All right. And so we're moving on, and let's get this next
So
one.
if I could ask just one question, I do have the employee comment, the director seeking clarification on item 3, so
Where
The-
are you, Loretta? I'm sorry.
the employee comments at the bottom of the first page of the goals.
Oh, I thought you were at the agenda first.
No, sorry. So number 3, the goal number 3, it says at the end of that first sentence, municipality wide. I just wanted clarification from the board on what exactly,
What's
I'm sorry, Loretta, which bullet? I'm sorry.
number 3,
Bullet 3 on the first page. Or are you talking about? the
My
second
goals.
page? Oh,
Additional customer.
no, my
service.
goals, not the policy.
goals on the second page?
The document that was just given to you by Dustin.
This
I
one?
picked up the wrong one.
Nope, so page
Or
1,
this one?
page 1, number 3.
Okay. There are two number threes, thank you, Sue.
The goal states that additional customer service, da, 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 and ends with municipality wide. I just wanted clarification on that. I wasn't entirely sure what you meant by that.
I haven't looked at this or seen it, so.
So again, this is what we.
Can we answer that?
We're going all the way back to April.
Can we
Um,
answer that next month at at the next meeting when we really discuss it and dive in?
Certainly,
Donna, do you
if that's felt that
That's
that's needed.
need for next month?
Yeah, that's fine.
Mhm.
Just for one.
It goes next one.
Excellent. That was my only question. Thank you.
Loretta.
I might be able to provide clarification there. So the
Okay.
way I'm reading it is I think it's in training for staff for library specific duties, but also municipally wide duties. And I think the meaning of municipally wide is like for budgeting. You know, that's not necessarily a library specific thing, but like how do you go through the municipal budget process and things like that.
Okay.
Like department head.
It's a, yeah,
Like
it's department head, yeah.
More like department head, I think.
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
Yeah, okay. I mean, maybe if you wanted it
We can
clarified a little bit more, yeah, that's fine if you have Jackie.
Yeah,
Well, these were goals set by the board, so that's why. I
I'm
brought
saying
it to-
she had the, that's definitely what.
Yeah,
what we were
she wrote
referring
them
to,
up.
Like what Justin is saying,
Okay.
the department wide, I'm pretty sure, don't you?
yeah, it sounds like it,
Because what else would it be?
exactly. All right. Then go to the treasurer's report. That's really good news. I sent this all to you days ago. We actually made money. $7,300. So we're only 1,000 short of being back at our January 2022, 1,228,000. So we're at 127,950.67. So just hoping the stock market keeps doing wonderful things for us. Anybody have any? Nothing. All right. Mr. Record, you're up.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
I'm sorry,
So
don't we have to say, I'm sorry, aren't we supposed to say we're not doing the May 13th, the item on the agenda, don't we have to say we're not doing it?
Yeah, we're
On the agenda,
All right, we're not doing the May 13th email to residents.
to trust, because you have to state that, otherwise. We don't have a meeting.
So
moving on.
the other item under the treasurer's report, which does fall sort of under mine, Donna and I were kind of questioning where it belonged on the agenda, but the request for Rosemary Malone funds. I did send a copy of the invoice around. We did add 2 reference materials to our collection. And I'm requesting that we use Rosemary Malone funds, which is strictly for reference materials. So the total for that would be $41.78. So with board approval.
I'll make a motion to accept that.
Okay,
I second that.
all those in favor? So
I'll
I've
get with you
never,
about a check.
I've never written a check before. Do I just write it to the Flynn Library? Who do I write it? to?
So this actually went on my personal credit card, so you could just reimburse it to me. But we can, like I said, we can get together and talk about the check.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't know if that's kosher.
Right,
Out
so
of a fund,
So,
to write a
uh,
check to you
that's the
personally.
thing, so we can figure it out.
okay.
Well, thank you. Sorry, so was the vote?
You know,
We didn't vote.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do we vote?
yeah, we didn't say that.
Yes, we did. A question. I assumed when I saw this $41 that you were referring to the our Malone fund because that's the only thing we're allowed to spend that money on.
Correct,
Yeah,
reference materials.
reference materials. Do we use it for all our reference materials?
Usually, so traditionally what we can, yes, but we don't, we've sort of culled our reference collection. A lot of our reference materials are all online databases, things like that. So,
Okay,
what we have been using it for is our Library of America collection. And then also too, we needed a new dictionary, Webster dictionary. So I said, that's a perfect item to use.
I'm
Rosemary
happy that we
Malone
have it.
funds for.
Sometimes it turns out you don't have a hard copy of a dictionary anymore because, right, I'm glad to have one in our library. What is the Library of America?
So it's American authors, different writing styles, different genres.
That don't circulate their reference collection?
So they are referenced, but it's a circulating reference collection. So it's not your traditional reference because we are one of the few libraries that has the full complete set.
Wonderful.
Yes.
I'd like to hear that.
All right, thank you very much. So taking a look at the circulation and budget reports. We do have copies available if anyone needs a hard copy.
I'm sorry, I didn't. I printed it.
You did print them?
I thought it was silly at the time because it was a waste of paper, but
So you need the circulation and budget report?
I have the budget, I'm okay.
Okay. You can have it.
I don't know enough about, we could need multiple copies, but then.
So we are trending, per usual with our circulations. Circulation is going up versus last year, but our numbers are pretty consistent with what we've been seeing in FY '24 so far. So if you're looking at year over year, FY '23 to FY '24, our current year, we're 1,767 items higher circulated than we were at this point last year. So really good numbers. I'm hoping that we will see continued growth there. So the second part of the circulation report covers attendance. And you will see that we were high for November. And year over year, we're significantly higher than we were. So this point in fiscal year '24, we've seen 3,049 people, more people visit the library than we did in FY '23. So really good numbers, very proud of the staff for all of the collection development that they're putting together to draw people in and, not only draw people in, but also increase our circulation, but our programming as well.
Loretta,
Yes.
did you say last month that that number would for the first time this month include outdoor attendance as well as indoor?
So we corrected it last month.
You corrected
So
it last month. Okay, so this is going to include that.
It already does.
It does.
Yes.
Good. Okay.
So all of the numbers that you see on the prior months too.
Oh, you
earlier
added
months,
it in straight
correct,
through.
Correct.
Oh, cool.
We went
Okay.
through and updated everything
All right.
on the circuit report. So the numbers that you see on this are accurate for every prior month too. Great question. Any other questions on that? Okay, perfect. Moving on to the budget report. Everything's pretty straightforward, but I'm happy to take questions. You will see that we noted the October payment for the PEG. Of 24,000, and the $1,500 encumbered from FY 23 to cover the equipment update in the meeting room. What you don't see on this budget report, because the check has not yet been deposited into our state aid account, is the payment that we will be receiving from the state for state aid. The dollar amount of that is $10,000 and change.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, so this year we're seeing even more money than we were last year's.
So it's gonna be.
So it's going up. And like I said, you will see it, once it's deposited into our account, you will see it reflected on our budget report, which will hopefully be next month.
So can I ask about that -543 for MVLC?
So as I mentioned earlier, that was actually in July that payment went out. You'll see it in the July 1st warrant, $25,124. Our membership went up this year. It was higher than we expected. So that's why we're in the negatives there, but we do have money from other lines to cover that.
Okay, so when will we pay?
We've already paid.
It's already paid.
Oh,
That's
we
why
got
it's
paid in
negative.
July,
It was
okay,
paid in July.
just hasn't shown up, okay,
No, it has shown up.
It has shown up,
and it's -543.
because it was more money than we anticipated.
Then we budgeted for.
So this
in that
stays the negative.
So we're not gonna pay that 543, that 543 is gonna stay in negative for this year.
Right.
It's already been paid. That's why that line looks like it's
Gotcha, no,
overdrawn.
I gotcha. But
But
it's
we
gonna-
have, within that category of services, we have funds that we are using to cover that deficit. Does that make sense? So the state aid payment that we will receive is $10,944.42.
That's awesome.
So again, the check was mailed. I don't think it's been received, but once it's deposited, that transaction will be added to the budget report. You will see that reflected, hopefully, like I said, in January. Any questions on that? So one of the documents shared with you was the program statistics sheet for the month of November. I know that the print on that is awfully tiny, so please let me know if you need
A magnifying glass?
that too. That's why I prefer to look at this one digitally rather than the printout.
I like the fact that you put the ages in. I mean, I think that helps all of us.
Yeah, I agree.
And I highlighted to the tweens. I changed the color of that, so it's a little bit
Thank you.
easier for folks to spot at a quick glance. But as you can see, our program attendance numbers, we're doing really well. We held 43 programs last month alone. And during that time, we saw 713 people engage in our programs. So 554 were live engagements. So people either came in person or virtually. And then we had an additional engagement from folks virtually online. So any of the recordings that are posted, people can watch at a later date. Those are counted as well. So 713. So in total, yeah. So really, really great numbers.
Thank you to the
For
friends.
attendance.
Thank you all.
And so
Thank you.
we are using a lot of money from the Friends group. So thank you for sponsorship of those programs to the Friends.
Thank you.
And also too, we are pulling from that state aid that was given by the board for programming. So thank you for that. That's definitely been coming in handy. And we are using that increased line.
Yeah, and it looks like 6 months, we're gonna be good, we're gonna be
So
good.
We're doing okay.
Yeah, I did have a question,
Okay,
particularly in the teens this time.
yes.
I see a lot of zeros. in attendance, and two, I'm just, well, I'm disappointed in the teens, of course, they ought to be over here, so that's the point. But I'm just wondering, what our librarian decisions, what Felicia and Jackie kind of decide when it comes to seeing that kind of turnout. What do we
So I
do?
will reiterate that teen programming is done with Felicia.
Felicia.
Correct.
Who did I say? Jackie?
Jackie and Felicia. So
Just
teen is Felicia, just so
Felicia.
we're
Okay.
clear going forward.
All right.
And then children's programming, and that includes tween programming. So anyone up to the age of 12
Is Felicia?
It's
is
Jackie.
Jackie.
Is Jack? Okay, I'll put that.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
So
in this case, what is Felicia saying? What's her brainstorming as far as what to do to change that?
So it's month to month, you know, there are teams that attend Teen Leadership Council. It just depends, you know, I think November, December, January even, we're hitting some hard times with, you know, people getting so busy. So we're gonna naturally see a hit in our attendance. So like I said, Teen Leadership Council, some months we do have attendees. November, we happened to not. Books and Bites, that's our book club. We're still trying to figure out how to get those kids in for book clubs.
We had to cancel something this month, for this month. What do we have to cancel?
Um,
Hey,
don't
Laura
see.
Swift, I couldn't
Oh, that's
believe
right.
it.
Yes,
Either, but that just shows how busy.
busy folks are. So
Yeah.
I was like.
December is a
God,
really
I
tough
did.
month. No, you know, once November hits, it's a tough month getting people in. So we really, you know, have to be very mindful of the programming that we do. And oftentimes for the teens, you can see the candy sushi and the movie and munchie night.
Yeah.
That's what drew in the larger crowd. So
Yeah.
if you feed them, they will come.
No.
So we're gonna keep that in mind as we plan our programming.
That's just so frustrating.
And I think too, you know, and I say this to Felicia too, don't get frustrated with team members. They're sort of this enigma. Teens are an enigma. And, you know, I, for years was a teen librarian, and there were programs where we had 40+ teens attend, and then we'd offer the same program the following month and no one would show. So, you know, the night of the week is tough. The timing, you know, the time in the afternoon or evening, that's tough. It's a really hard audience to get. So, you know, and they'll RSVP, but if someone asks them out later and after they've already registered for the program, they'll take the better opportunity of hanging out with their friends. So it happens. You know, I was a teen once, I get it.
You remember that better than me.
Long time ago, but I do. All right, so any other questions on that sheet? Okay. Perfect. So updates on staff and training. So talking about staffing, we do have the circulation assistant position. The conditional job offer was accepted. They are currently in the process of onboarding. So once they're cleared for employment, we'll get them in right away, start getting them trained. And hopefully again, that will be, or later this month. We also have 2 openings for the library page position. 2 candidates have accepted the conditional offer, and they are in the process of getting onboarded as well. So hopefully later this month. I will be taking the week of Christmas off, so I'm hoping to get folks started before I leave. If not, you know, I'll probably come in for a bit just to kind of get them welcomed in, start them, and then Michelle can take over the payroll side of things, because that's what she's doing, and then they can shadow their peers on the operations. So I can tell you right now that all 3 candidates are very eager and excited to begin their employment here. Updates on training. I did send the spreadsheet for November workshops and trainings attended by staff during that month. So if there's any questions on that, I can try to answer them for you.
I was really super pleased to attend the strategic planning meeting,
Yes.
and we waved at each other on Zoom.
And we got 3 waves back. Did you see that? Like 3 of the other attendees were waving to us. I was like, that's true. I didn't know that.
So that was, a good intro. I thought it was a good intro to
Mhm.
strategic planning. So I wanted to mention that. And on the, you put in here the displays and program policy workshop that you attended
Mhm.
at the end of November.
Mhm.
After we put our policies in place, did they have you on a panel to speak on how to do it?
No, so this was, for libraries that have been either that have policies in place already
Mhm.
or are looking to put them in place.
Mhm.
So it was just kind of a collaborative, it was a training on wording, but also to a collaborative workshop for directors to kind of lean on each other. So
Mhm.
where we have policies already in place, I thought
Yeah,
it
where
was.
we broke the ice.
Yeah, sort of, we were one of the first. ones
Yeah,
to
no
kind of
question.
do
Very
that, so.
proud of us for having that.
Any other questions?
No, that's cute. Yep, I do love mysteries and thrillers. So Paige took a course in crash course crime students. What was that? What was that about? Like,
Novelist?
yeah, to bring in the one under Paige, the first one, novelist, like, what was that about? Do you know?
So I'm not sure if it was on collection development or on readers advisory. Paige, as our circulation ILL librarian, she's also in charge of collection development. So she attends a lot of trainings that focus on those. Readers advisory, collection development.
But I'm saying that it focuses on
So-
like that specific genre.
Explain what
Just-
novelist, explain what novelist.
So
is.
Novelist is a resource available to library staff, but also to patrons as sort of a virtual readers advisory where you can see what books are recommended, read-alikes, authors,
Where do we
series.
see that as patrons?
It's on the website,
Yeah,
right?
correct.
It's kind of like, I love
When you
reading.
log into your account?
It's on our website under
Where
our
is it? Where is it?
under our services, resources.
And it says novelist?
Yeah,
Yes.
Oh my God, I've never seen
it's
that.
because if you love John Grisham, but you want to read other books
Well, that's what I'm
besides.
asking, because I love mystery, that's why I wanted
Yes.
to know, like,
So,
what that is
and
about.
Novelist does everything. It's not just
Oh, okay.
mysteries and thrillers.
But that was the one thing.
They were highlighting.
I don't want to take your time, I just was
Correct.
curious, thank
Yeah.
you, thank you.
So,
I'll look it up. I'll
Yeah,
see.
Novelist. It's a great
I hope
resource.
everyone understands that reader's advisory, which is a term we throw around, is really not just random. People are trained in how to guide you to search for other books or to understand what you like. Do you like the characterizations? Do you like the scenery? Do you like the era? You know,
Okay.
there's a lot more to being able to recommend a book, yeah.
I'll check it
But
out.
equally important is what you don't like too.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
very much what,
Thank you.
Yeah, because if you recommend a book someone doesn't like,
right,
they get really mad at you.
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome. Any other questions on that before I move on? Okay, perfect. So at an earlier meeting, I had mentioned that I would like to attend the PLA, the Public Library Association, and semi-annual conference, which is taking place this April. So it takes place every other year. So again, I had mentioned to you that I was looking to attend. I did also mention that I was going to apply, or that I had applied for a scholarship of up to $2,500 to be reimbursed to attend, and that's put on through MLS. So I applied, I received from one of the recipients of that scholarship. So,
Yay.
yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So I will not be asking the board to sponsor me for that,
That covers all your
Conference.
costs.
Where is
Correct.
that held, Laura?
So it's in Columbus, Ohio. this
Oh,
year.
oh, that's what you mentioned.
Oh,
last
it's a
time.
great city. I was there this.
I've never been.
It's
So-
really an interesting city, yeah, you'll like it,
So they will up to $2,500 for travel, hotel, and food.
and food.
Very good, thank you.
Well,
Awesome.
So
So April 2020, that's in April.
April 2024, yeah, 2024.
Mhm.
So I'm very grateful for MLS offering that to small libraries. And not only offering it and making that opportunity available, but also selecting me as one of the recipients. I do want to mention that library staff will be participating in a mandatory CPR certification training and Narcan administration training to take place on Friday, January 5th from 9:00 a.m. to 11:00 a.m. So normally the library would open at 10 a.m., but that Friday, January 5th will be opening at 11, so that staff can attend. updates on the building and technology. We are still working, or I'm still working with the electrician on problem solving the light fixtures at the entrances to the original building and also the addition expansion at the parking lot. So
The water,
correct. As I mentioned, there's the way the globe, the light is designed, the water's actually coming down the fixture and into the globe and shorting out the wires. So I said, can we replace them? He says, no, they're very expensive. And I said, okay. So let's figure out a way to do that.
but
But
is it cheaper to repair them?
correct. So that's what we're looking at.
And will they need repair over and over?
Well, so that's what we've been doing. Excuse me, I'm tickling my throat. So that's what we've been doing all these years. Is sort of putting Band-Aids on it. So now we're trying to look for a more permanent repair.
Gets more expensive to repair sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah, so. We are still working on that. I do want to say that the technology in the meeting room has been properly programmed. It took a few tries, but we're using it now for our movies. We're also using, we did it for our meetings as well, but we had the Winter Festival here. We kicked it off at the Flint like we do every year with the showing of the cartoon version of How the Grinch Stole Christmas. So, and the sound was phenomenal.
Oh,
Yeah, it was really good.
And what about all the computer systems? Are they all up and running finally?
Yes, all public computers are working.
And children's too?
Yes, children,
Super.
teens, and adults. Thank you.
That's fantastic. Thank you.
Is the sign up one?
The sign on the entrance doors was removed several weeks ago.
The sign.
Oh, so the electronic, thank you. So the electronic sign still has not been repaired or put back online.
Mhm.
So that electronic sign is updated via a desktop. So
The
that
front one on the street.
yes, correct, the 114 electronic sign. So that computer was wiped as part of the cyber incident that the town faced. So that was wiped. We are working with the company that has the software for this to get the right version for our road sign. So and that computer was just recently put back online. It was safe to put back online. So it's now connected to the internet. We just have to get copies of the software to then reinstall on the computer so that we can then update the sign. So it shouldn't take much longer now that we're back online. So stay tuned for that. And we're hoping that we'll, again, I would say by this time next month, we should be able to update. the
So
sign.
why did I see a sign when I walked in that MVLC's there?
Oh, the electronic, I thought you were talking about something on the electronic sign. I'm like,
No.
I don't know. That's a bad thing. So the sign on the entrance doors right now is a message that was distributed by MVLC, Merrimack Valley Library Consortium, regarding the MVLC app, the patron app. So it's not related to anything. It's not something we can even fix. The contract with the app has expired and the app is no longer working for patrons to browse the collection, log into their account, view their checkouts.
From home.
Correct. The Libby, yeah, basically.
Libby's not working.
No, Libby works. It's not Libby.
Libby, I
No, it's
go
the
every
MVLC.
day.
There's two apps. Libby is separate.
Yeah.
Libby is just the
Yeah.
digital side of things. The MVLC.
This is
app
their catalog.
is, yes, the catalog is still up. You just can't use an app to access it. You can access it through the internet,
Okay,
but not the app.
okay, because I was gonna say, I do
Like I
this
said-
every day. and
Like I said, yeah, if you don't use the app, it's not affecting you.
Oh, okay, it's just the app.
Correct. And again, that's out of our hands. That's an MVLC
It
thing.
just didn't make sense to me because I've had no problem.
Right,
with
yeah, so
Libby
because
or-
the web version works fine.
Okay,
So as I said, we kicked off the Winter Festival here. It was a huge success. I was honored to be a part of it again this year. I always look forward to participating, dressing up as an elf. And this year I spiced things up. I went as a reindeer this year. I didn't go as an elf. I know. So, and on top of that, I switched it up again and I wasn't on cookie decorating duty. I was on popcorn station duty because town administration unfortunately had no other engagements. I was happy to take the warm heated popcorn. So it was a welcomed change. So thank you.
Right.
But I will relinquish the popcorn station to you next year.
I'm looking forward to it.
It's a lot of fun. So also too, we had the Bruce Tar Toy Drive this past Tuesday from 9 to about 10:30. They were out of here. They run an efficient program. So they were out of here by 10:30, but the star of the show was the How Manning Carolers. Oh my gosh, they did a fabulous job. They sang a few songs for us. It was broadcast over the radio. We had grandparents, parents in attendance, and a lot of local figures as well in attendance. So it was a good day. Also for programming, we now have a wish tree at the library, which is when you walk out here, it's just on your right, would be on your right. It's the tall, narrow one that kind of fits perfectly in that space by the clock. So we are encouraging folks to grab a star, write their wish, and then hang it on the tree. So we ask, if it's fun and you want to do so, please do, but your wish for the library for 2024, it's a great way to kind of hear from our patrons about what they would like to see at the library. So, but also too, it can be a personal wish, something you'd like to see, period, in 2024.
I know this is jumping ahead on the agenda, but can the wish tree and the answers be included in kind of focus group kind of thing towards trustees?
So that's sort of part of the plan.
Okay.
That anything feedback related will kind of be presented as,
Okay.
as part of the strategic plan.
Good.
But, so again, programs and services, the library will be closed Sunday, December 24th and Monday, December 25th for Christmas. We'll also be closed Sunday, December 31st and Monday, January 1st for New Year's. So speaking of holidays, I also provided you as part of the packet, a list of holidays for 2024 for your approval or review and approval.
I just want to hand this out.
This is just the link to the federal.
No, I don't, stuff. That's just information. I don't know if that has 12 minutes.
So we are opening this up to discussion or any revisions or questions. I'm happy to answer anything.
The reason I printed out this list is because I was confused by some of the holidays. I was confused this year. I guess I didn't really realize what I had approved last year. And so I wanted to really think about how many days we want to be closed. I know we close occasionally for a training, which CPR sounds important. But I see in comparison to the 2024 holidays, maybe Justin, if you want to share this. You want to compare it to what the Flint considers, and it seems to me that what we've done is taken every Monday holiday and turned it into a weekend holiday. Because we're not open Saturdays, so it closes the library for Saturday, Sunday, Monday, every time there's a Monday holiday.
So we are closed the Sunday before a Monday holiday, yes.
Why? Because I wish we weren't. We open, if we were open Saturday, I would say that's fabulous, but we're not open Saturday, so it's not just that we're closed Sunday in the middle of January when the kids are kind of getting ready to go back to school and all, we're closed on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And I think that's too much to be closed.
So it's again, that has been what traditionally we've done, is to give, staff the Monday and Sunday off, so they have the weekend. But again, that it's just been what we've traditionally done.
Yeah, I guess I'm proposing that we reconsider that on some of these holidays, not all of them. Obviously, I think Labor Day deserves, or Memorial Day certainly deserves the recognition of the seriousness. But for example, Martin Luther King and President's Day are days, and the feds only close on the Monday. Things aren't closed on Sunday. Post office isn't closed. Well, I don't know if post offices are closed on Sunday, but in general. So I was suggesting that we really think about how many 3-day weekends, we want to be closed every month.
So we do, and again, the board take this into consideration, we would have to adjust our FY 25 budget, so that would go into consideration as well. So,
I understand that.
but now's the time to do that because we are putting.
And I'm not proposing weeks,
So-
I'm proposing days, just a few days, so it's not adjusting our budget tremendously. These people are paid to work a certain amount of hours. You know, our staff is already paid to work a certain amount of hours, their benefits are already based on them getting benefits that day, so. you know,
Right, it's just the hourly rate we have to factor in. You know. adding
Right,
our factor,
absolutely,
right,
and I was
So that will
proposing that.
increase our budget request.
Yeah, so I was proposing January 14th, February 18th, April 14th. Those are 3 days, and then October 13th and November 10th. Those are
So if I can also, and I don't.
5
want
days,
to
I was
make things
suggesting.
difficult. We don't have a large staff. We are relying heavily on folks to cover the weekends that we are already open. The Sundays that we are already open. And smaller libraries, there are smaller libraries, they close Sundays in the summer. We
Oh, yeah, I
opt to
can
stay
see
open.
that.
We opt to stay open
Mhm.
Sundays in the summer. So. Looking at the rotation and the number of Sundays folks have to work. We're gonna be burning folks. We don't have the large staff. We have 7 full-time.
But these are people who were hired to work these hours.
Sundays and rotations. They were hired factoring in these Sundays off.
Yeah, I mean.
Correct, so
I don't know, right, I'm not sure why, because it's an optional thing. It's not a fixed in stone, it's a consideration to be reviewed every year. I also have serious. I'll add 2 more days, Mother's Day and Father's Day. I think that's a fabulous day. Mothers would love their husbands to be able to take their kids to the library on Mother's Day.
So we were seeing low attendance on those days, but also too staffing it's harder to get staff in on a Mother's Day or Father's Day. We're all kids.
Have you ever taken advantage of bibliotemps? Because that, I mean, there've got to be temporary people we can get in to
So
cover.
temporary help is always an option. Yes, I'm not saying no. But there is a lot of the devil's in the details, so to speak. And what we do, it's very difficult to just have someone come in and sit at a desk and know what to do. If they're not here regularly and they're not
Oh,
here.
of course, I mean, if
So,
bibliotemps are trained.
That's not
Yeah,
in Flint procedures though. You know, they can, nor do they know our software.
no,
So
but in symphony and that kind of stuff.
not necessarily,
Gotcha.
not necessarily. So they don't know our software, possibly, and they definitely don't know our procedures. So also too, you know, we've taken a look at what's actually feasible for the staff of our size. And the number of hours that we are operating and the level of programs that we offer and the number of items we circulate. So all of that being said, Sundays, like I said, people were hired with the expectation, these are the number of Sundays they're going to be working in rotation. To change that is then going to not only affect the budget for staffing hourly,
For 5 days.
but also too for utilities.
Absolutely, well,
So
because
everything
we're used to being closed.
Correct, for select number of Sundays.
I personally don't feel this is unreasonable. With these days closed. A lot of people on Mother's Day, the family doesn't go to the library on Mother's Day, they take their mother out to dinner or their father out to dinner. I mean, I feel that it would be an impact on the budget, because it's not just one person you need the housekeeper, you need at least 2 or 3 people working the desk, so it's not a small amount of money. And I think it's not unreasonable to have these days off.
But already, it's staffing, I can tell you right now, staffing Sundays is tough. So just,
Have we ever considered, because I'm not surprised staffing Sundays and stuff, have we ever considered not being open on a Sunday, but being open on a Saturday instead? I mean,
we have.
I know we get a lot more people in on a Saturday than a Sunday.
So,
That's not necessarily true, because that's when all the sports teams and stuff are playing.
but also too, that's when a lot of the other libraries are open. So,
This is something that makes it unique that it's open on Sunday.
correct. So when we were looking at bang for our buck,
Mm-hmm.
we opted for Sundays because fewer libraries are open Sundays. So those needing a library on a Sunday could find us. So that was the logic.
A lot of libraries are only open Sunday during the school year.
And then close weekends.
And then close
So,
in the
and that's the
summer.
thing is, you know, we're a small library in a small town.
Mm.
So I would love to be, you know, working, you know, hours of operation like Reading. I mean, that's a library, you know, intimately.
Yeah, that's a
So,
library.
you
Yeah.
know, but that's apples and oranges.
Oh,
So
yeah.
in order to get to that level of service, we need more people first. We're sort of putting the cart before the horse. Increasing hours is not the answer. We need to increase staff first and then look at increasing.
I'm not
hours.
looking to increase
So-
the hours, I understand.
But
I'm
you
just
are,
looking
by
to stay
being open additional
No, I'm
Sundays.
just looking to stay open the hours that we are open. I mean, we're open Sundays, so I'd like to be open Sunday.
But again, that's additional hours to what we already have. So, just, it's looking at this all big picture,
Alright.
which I think is
Can we,
easier to do.
can we see our way clear to maybe, saying, if you found that Mother's Day and Father's Day, which I wanted to come here on one of those days, and it was like, what do you mean we're not? Maybe trying to stay open one or two of these other days and see how it works out. Giving it a shot and compromising.
Maybe that's the for the strategic plan, we could put this on and see, because I feel like a lot of people, that's what we're expecting, you know, like the Sunday, Monday, a lot of people travel, these are. So I don't know, maybe just see what people.
Mhm.
Would want.
That's definitely, that's already
Yeah.
be part of the strategic plan. It is services, hours of operation, all of that is
Alright.
factored in. So yes. But I put this list together, looking at services to the public, level of staff that we have. And what the real needs are here.
And we're
So
already open twice the
looking at
number of hours.
more than
Right.
twice what we're actually.
We're
supposed to be.
supposed to be open 26, we're open 51.
We're supposed to be open 25, we're open 51.
Population is up.
So still, you know,
Probably.
even if we were over 10,000, we're still open far more than we need to be.
Alright, I think we need to move on.
Right, so it just, yeah, that's my,
So are we voting on this calendar or?
so it does need approval by the board.
Okay. Does anyone make a motion?
I make a motion to keep the dates that are proposed and then have it looked at as part of the strategic planning. Moving forward to evaluate.
I second that motion.
All those in favor? Aye,
I'm going to
Opposed?
say opposed.
one opposed.
All right, excellent, thank you. So the final 2 points of my director's report are ones that we've been talking about for at least one, sometimes more meetings. The career coach. I did send out additional information to folks, websites, his website, and also to his credentials resume. So, as I said earlier, you know, this is something that I was looking into in alignment with the goals that we took a look at tonight. Building, you know, connections with mentors. This was my recommendation for that. So, opening it up to the board for discussion, questions, anything I can do to answer, or any questions I can answer, happy to do so.
Anybody?
I had the same points I made last time, spending $4,800 and $9,000 for, I'm using his title of a fund coach, I don't think is appropriate, and the fact that we gave 3,000 last month for the strategic plan consultant. That is necessary, I think will go a long way, and then see how things are going. I think to do 3,000 last month for that, and another 5,000 or 9,000, it's a significant amount of money for a fund coach. I guess the title is uncomfortable fund coach. And I just think it's fiscally irresponsible.
So I do want to say he is a career coach. The name of his, just for clarification, the name of his company is Uncomfortable Fun. So that's what he was talking.
Right,
What he's talking about.
that's what I'm referring to his exact title. I wasn't making this.
Well, his title,
The title.
his title is career. coach.
Right, but I'm saying, I'm using what was sent to me, but,
So, yeah, the name of his company is Uncomfortable Fun.
yeah.
So
Would you refresh the cost, like 6 months is how much?
4,800
And then it's 9,000 for the.
for 1 year,
the one.
correct.
A lot of money.
I have some concerns because it seems to me that we've done a lot of funding. Even through state aid for Loretta to finish her degree, which I'm very happy to see that you've done that. And I just feel that, I guess I hadn't even remembered that we did fund for the strategic planning company, and I feel that's important. I feel that's very important. This is the strategic plan is a big process. And I just think that this career coach, the more I read about what the services were, it's a lot of personal stuff, and it feels to me like this is a request for something that might be paid for under your health insurance, actually.
No, so his, as you can see in his proposal, so he and I would work closely on developing my professional skills. So it's leadership skills, political skills, but also kind of engaging with the community, working with the board, the dynamics that you see there. So it's not, I think, as Maria said at the last meeting, a life coach. It's not a life coach. It is a
But I'm just
professional.
reading the words, Loretta. I guess I shouldn't, if I could before you continue. I just feel as though that kind of money, I'll be honest with you, I think that first responders like the fire chief, the police chief would be someone, because I think of them as the first responders. They're in like the midst of a lot of scary, crazy stuff in this world. They don't have that. The idea that we're gonna give our library person, not diminishing libraries by any means, but that's real world danger, guns, fire, all of that crime. And we're not doing that. And if we start doing this and putting $5,000 at a minimum, up to $9,000 for someone to do this, I just don't think it's appropriate. I think it's a bad message to the rest of the department heads. I just feel that's a substantial amount of money, and as Allison just reminded us, we've supported you continually with your tuition as much as possible, $5,000 on each run, basically, when you come in for that, and then the 3,000 for the strategic consultant, and I think we all supported that, but this kind of thing is kind of like, in these times, is not time to do that, to spend that kind of money. We have an aging building. You've told us that many times, things going on with the heating system. I just think it's a very bad thing to support and not support the first responders in this town, including the town clerk, the town administrator. I mean, it's just,
Why do you say they're not, if they wanted to apply for something like this, couldn't they?
apply to go to the select board of the town meeting.
For a career coach? It's not a fun coach, it's a career.
Uncomfortable.
Well, it says
Yeah,
it's
I
a big
know,
call.
I know.
I mean, I
but-
only can go by what's given.
I know, but what makes you think that they couldn't do that if they
I
want?
don't think they're gonna go, I don't know who they'd have to go to. For example, if the fire chief, I don't know, Justin could tell me where, but I think pretty sure they'd have to go to select board for that.
What if Justin wanted career coach, would you go to the select board?
It would be built to like training, like I don't know what line you're proposing to pay for this out of, but it's.
State aid.
Yeah, so I mean, if it's funds that are intended for that purpose, but I think drawing a line saying using this fund is taking away from public safety or something.
No, it's
So-
not taking away, I'm sorry, I
Yeah.
wasn't saying it's taking away. from
Just for
you,
folks
saying-
watching at home.
Correct,
Yeah.
it's taxpayers' dollars that state aid is, and I just feel that in this time of the aging building and the economy is shaky and all of that, and we have supported Loretta with training, with tuitions over and over again in the strategic plan, and then just the next month, give me another 5K, and I mean it like that. Ooh, it's like, wow, I think it's very aggressive to put that on and then look for the library just to support something like that at this time. I think it would be good to see the strategic plan person come in, start working, see how that goes. And then maybe if there's more need that Loretta feels she can't accomplish her job and her duties and needs a career coach for that, maybe we consider it, but I think it's a bad time to do something like that and a bad look.
Yeah, I had forgotten about that boiler.
Well, that's always a problem.
Yeah. And we want that electronic whiteboard out here too, that way.
It's hard to laugh.
Well, I gotta make something out of it.
Anybody
That way.
else, anybody else have anything they have to say?
Are there other funds, other places that would be available to her, like through the town itself?
It's a possibility. I think, from the fiscal responsibility standpoint, to Loretta's credit, maybe 15 minutes ago or so, you just made reference to about $2,500 scholarship for a conference. So you're out there scrapping for money, which is a good thing. And, I don't really see this as something frivolous. I know that some fun has been poked at the name of this gentleman's business, but ultimately it's professional development.
Well, it's the personal meetings too.
Well, I'm sure he does a whole host of things. We hire people that do all sorts of things, but we hire them for specific services. And I think as described, it sounds like it's an investment in professional development. So I'm always in support of that, but I don't have a vote here, so.
And that's the thing that is on her goal. I mean, that's something that we pushed as trustees, that we wanted her to have outside coaching, and we wanted to have outside mentor.
There's a lot of resources though through MBLC, through MLS, which she's taking advantage of, and there's also, she's hired a consultant for strategic planning, which we'll get to, and I just have a problem that this seems like a very personal thing, like, as I mentioned, I should think health insurance would cover some of this. And it covers, joining a gym, for example. This seems to me like some personal coaching.
I've never seen this on a health insurance policy being covered by health
Under
insurance.
mental health.
Under mental health, because this isn't mental health.
Correct.
This
When he
is
says
being,
when he's saying personally, you meet with me personally, he offers, so I'll have one-on-one sessions where we work together, but also too, he offers group sessions where directors meet and talk together, collaborate together. So again, I like him because of his experience, decades of experience as a library director, decades of his experience working in public libraries. So he is one of the strongest mentors I've found. Again, looking at what was put forth as a goal and what has brought forth again this year, of this current goal. So I've been working with mentors, as Allison said, I've been working with mentors, I've been taking advantage of these other continuing education opportunities. And yet the goal is still here. So looking at just getting better and continuing my professional development, this is the next step. So that's why, again, the request is here, but ultimately it's the board's decision.
anybody?
I mean, I would say, I agree with Maria, and well, if we could come back to it in 3 months after the strategic planning, I agree.
You said that, we talked about that last month, you said that.
I support it. I think it's very important. I think it's on your goal. I support it. I think maybe if we just table it for 3 months.
For like the strategic to get going, you mean?
Yes. So not saying no, because I support it. I think it's very important. I think that, as we've seen, we need to, yes, work together and support. We need support and mentorship, so. I'm fully in support of it, I think we should just table it.
To see how this strategic plan stuff goes along.
Yes, yeah.
I like that idea. So maybe tailor it to the spring.
Is that the consensus?
January.
We don't need to vote on that.
No, because you don't need to. I like what you said, I think you're right on.
All right, well, table it.
Thank you.
There'll
Moving on.
Still be considered.
Yep, so I'll make a note to bring that back up with you for future agenda.
Yes.
Maybe, can we decide maybe to put it on January, maybe March?
Well, I think
meeting?
we have to see how the strategic plan starts gearing up, we'll know more when we're gonna start. When is he?
Thank you, Maria, it's the perfect
Oh, that's a nice
segue
one.
into my final
Your
bullet
final-
point
your
of my
final-
director's
Right, so
report
that was-
is the strategic planning
Yeah,
process.
thank you.
So, as you know, last meeting, we voted to go with Greg Ponovitz for a strategic planning process. The next step of that is to form a strategic planning committee. So I'm going to provide you with the formalized agreement, because the last page has the timeline. Timeline of the process where we have, if you just take one of us down. The goal is to have the strategic plan done by October so that we meet the deadline set forth by MBLC.
October 24.
October 2024.
Could you send this electronically too?
Certainly, yeah, yep, when you get it, yeah, certainly. Well, email that out to the board. So, as I said, the next step is forming a strategic planning committee of about 5 members. So, I will be one sitting in on that committee. My assistant director, Michelle, will be the other member from library administration, because we'll be the ones who are seeing this plan through when it does come to fruition. But I'm also asking that Donna and Allison consider being part of the committee as well. I have also asked Annie to be a part of that, but the planning committee will meet regularly throughout the strategic planning process and kind of make recommendations, seek Greg's input, make some decisions. So our first meeting would be this Friday, December 15th, because we want to stay matching our timeline. So Friday, December 15th at 10:30 in the morning. So Donna, Allison, if you're willing,
I've got it on my calendar.
if the board approves,
What time?
10:30 a.m. on Friday, December 15th.
Are you including a member of the public? I know you mentioned Annie's a friend, but it could.
Not for the strategic planning committee.
Not for the committee.
Right, we will then have other subcommittees from the public, but also I'll be asking Justin to sit in on meetings too, where we're seeking input from our stakeholders.
That was interesting, because I was thinking that we should have a community representative on our planning board.
So traditionally, it's not done for the planning committee, just because we're the ones kind of drafting, taking the input and drafting.
I mean, I can see Annie as representing the friends.
Correct.
And kind of the public too, I mean, but she really is so knowledgeable about the friends and the library that I feel we need someone who's kind of like almost objective, who almost knows nothing.
I don't think that's what you want on the.
Not on the planning.
Not on the planning.
Correct.
committee, Because then you have an opportunity, it looks like, with getting the invited community focus group members. I think.
The focus group members, that's when you really want to kind of cast that wider net and really get the feedback.
Who advised this limited strategic planning committee?
So Greg and I, when we talked about this, I said, this is kind of what I'm looking for. He's like, absolutely. I also would recommend doing this, 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 and this. So those are the 5 he recommended.
Okay. The 5?
Correct. So myself,
Then
Michelle,
yourself.
Annie,
Okay.
correct, Donna, Allison.
I spoke to him, by the way.
I've always enjoyed working with
I'm
him.
like, hey, I guess we're gonna be
So-
working. He's like, cool.
So if the board is okay with that, Lana and Allison sitting in this.
Do we have to make a motion for the two of
I
them to be on? Is that why you're asking us? to?
No, I don't think so. I just wanted so that they'll kind of come forward and sort of be represented.
Oh, you said it's okay.
Right, so
Before a
with-
motion.
I don't think it would hurt to take a vote, just so that you are fully nominating and voting on your representation in the committee.
I'd like to make a motion to accept board member Allison Ford and Donna Danbury as, what do we call it, the strategic plan committee.
Correct.
Strategic plan formation of a strategic plan committee.
Who wants a second?
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
The last point that I have, thank you everyone, is our next meeting will be held Monday, January 8th. And that's it from me.
Can I?
Yeah.
I don't know, tell me if this is inappropriate, but it would be nice if all five of us worked on a mission statement individually. Are we
Oh,
allowed
I
to
like
do
that, Donna. I like that.
And then
Donna.
I'll put it on the agenda in
And then you bring
January,
yours with you.
and we'll each bring in our.
Maybe we can each
We
bring
can say-
three points that we think should be in it.
3 points would be
Mm.
great.
Don't-
I, perfect.
So January's meeting is that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we can do that,
Three points
3 points.
For the
and then-
January meeting.
to a January meeting.
Yep.
All right, that sounds good.
And if they weren't really long and complicated, if you wanted to send them to me, I could put them all on one page. And we could sit there and then look at them and make an educated. Yeah.
We can see them in advance.
And we can see them in advance.
Yeah.
So if our meeting's gonna be January 8th, you're not gonna have a lot of time.
Yeah.
We're not gonna have a lot of time to put this together. So Christmas Day, I expect all of you. to
Everybody's
sit there
finished with
looking
their
at it.
shopping and
Mm.
then it's all done. already.
Yes, but if you can get it to me by the,
I'd like to give us a date from
fifth, maybe sixth, something like that,
January 5th or 6th.
then I can put it on one page and then we can look at it.
Okay.
And that would help us,
I think that's,
our policy 44.
I think that would be great to have it all in one.
All right,
Thank you.
I'd like to have a motion to adjourn, please.
Motion to
Who's
adjourn.
gonna second,
I second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for being here so late.
Thank
Way
you.
past my bed.
And thank you to all our virtual attendees as well. Have a good night, everyone.
It kind of already started, right?